Adam first tonight after a raft of embarrassing stumbles and setbacks over his very unpopular federal budget. Tony Abbott today suffered easily the most humiliating and damaging defeat since his election. After being forced to water down his controversial changes to Medicare, even his compromise has failed and he's been forced to dump it. Adam Todd joins us now with the details from Canberra. Adam, it's little wonder Mr Abbott was nowhere to be seen today.
Well, Natasha, the government had hoped it could put a ragged 2014 behind it and start afresh in 2015, but clearly that hasn't happened. And based on what we've seen today, the government's policy on Medicare can only be described as shambolic. The new health minister faces up to take her medicine.
I've heard, I've listened, and I'm deciding to take this action now. These changes are no longer going to happen.
The changes would have seen a $20 cut in the Medicare rebate for short visits to the doctor. Fierce backlash from doctors and crossbench senators meant the plan was said to be scrapped by the Senate.
I have become aware of significant concerns and unintended consequences of changes to Medicare rebates scheduled to begin on Monday.
With Tony Abbott on holidays, Susan Lee cut short her leave to abandon the plan. It's a back down on a back down. Just last month, these changes were brought in after the government dumped its unpopular $7 GP co-payment.
It was a bit ragged, but we've got to a better position, and that in the end is what people want.
But today it appears that better position wasn't what people wanted. As late as yesterday, the PM was still defending the changes.
These are difficult decisions. They really are difficult decisions, but we have to make them if Medicare is going to be sustainable for the long-term future.
And it seems the government that promised no surprises is now surprising its own ministers. Cabinet Minister Bruce Bilson this morning.
It's good policy. It deals with 6-minute turnstile treatment medicine. I think we need to keep making that case because it's an important reform, and frankly, it's the only reform in a necessary area of reform that's on the table.
The government is taking them off the table.
This would be funny if it wasn't so serious. It looks like the Keystone Cops. Quite frankly, this is the most chaotic government.
Doctors had warned the changes would kill off bulk billing.
I'm glad that common sense has prevailed in getting these changes off the table. It is a win for grassroots GPs and their patients.
Tony Abbott should leave the doctor's waiting room and leave medicine and curing sick people to the people who know how to do that job.
The government has pledged it has no plans to resurrect the policy. Now, what we have seen today is just the latest back down from the Abbott government. In addition to that $20 rebate cut and the $7 GP co-payment, we've also seen back downs on paid parental leave, higher education reforms and Defence Force pay. And all of that in the face of a hostile Senate. Now, that leaves the government in a difficult position going forward. One option would be to call a double dissolution election and hope for a better Senate. But the problem with that plan is that on current polling, that is an election the government would lose.
Adam, thank you for the update.